What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys had an incredible weekend. The market had an incredible futures last night and gave it all back plus some, which gives us the question, is anything sustainable still? Is anything still in October going to rally? September ended up being one of the worst months for the market in the entire year, and we're not sure what October is going to do yet, but we're going to find out in the next 30. What is today? The second already, so 30 days left, something like that. But we got Adam and House. Good morning to you, Albert, Amy. Good morning, Bill, Cindy, Greg, Gilbert. Good morning, Jay, Joe, JT, Martina, Matthews in the house. Good morning to you, Rick, Ron, Sylvan, Tina. Good morning to Tish, Win, Wole. Good morning. I know Wole changed how he writes his name because of me. No matter what, I usually get it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All my peeps out there in YouTube land, good morning to all you guys. We got Richard, Rado, good morning. We got Gene, good morning. Man, we got the squadron in the house. Let's see. So, and just as I hit, as soon as I hit start meeting to get this room going, a Tesla just started dumping. So Tesla's not a fan of me today already. I mean, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. But let's take a look real quick at some of these futures and let me put on some extended hours. There we go. And I don't even think this is the full story because futures started at 6 p.m. last night. We rallied pretty decent, but at least for the SPY from when they're telling us this is about 4:30:15. So we did have a nice little rally. I think it was actually higher than that. We ended up selling, and now we're sitting at the lows of Friday. That's going to be a big level to break down, to give back a lot after, again, we had a nice little gap up on Friday. That all sold off. We had a small little rally into the close of the day. Right now, our VPOC is lower than Friday, lower than Thursday. We're still in this downtrend, and we have one big level somewhere around 425.92. But the problem, and I mean, I have a candle down here that I don't know if is real. This is real. So this should be our double bottom. We've already retested this once, making this a little bit more likely to break. And I think we can continue to head down. SPYs are just not feeling great, but we do have a little division between some individual companies, specifically NVIDIA, who got a $600 price target upgrade from Goldman. We have a couple other things that are kind of gapping up a little bit, but the indices are down. So some things are not really coherent, to be honest. But let's take a look real quick at the daily chart. Let's see where we are at. Interesting spot. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm just more fascinated with my imaginary lines than anything. Probably way more so than any of you guys are. But we do have a good rejection. So we fell right through this 431.82. And then that was our opening price on Friday. We gave it all back. We didn't hold on to any gains. And again, we're sitting right down there. We had some buyers interested here before. We've got some moving averages holding us up. And it is a retest gap at the lows of Friday. But on top of that, this was a retest gap as well. So this is a retest from Friday. We've already retested. I think we're giving back a little too much at this point. I'm looking for a balance. Maybe if we could get any type of rally, get us up to like 427.47. We've got a lot of, this is a problem. We got a lot of time. We got 25 more minutes until this market opens. And if we start leaking underneath, I'll put it at 425.95, somewhere in that range. And especially if we start opening below 425.30, I think that's going to be a big sentiment to sell for a lot of people, or at least make any of those bulls who felt good for at least 2 days. September gave him at least 2 days. That was kind of nice. Gave him 2 days of feeling happy, and then just crushed their dreams. So we'll see. Jay says Tesla says Q3 Model SX production 13,688 units, sequential decline in volumes. was caused by planned downtimes for factory upgrades. That was the news on that sell-off. So less cars, but it was planned. not the investors. I guess just the Tesla. I don't know. It's causing the 4%. Yeah. We'll take a look at Tesla in a second. We'll pull that one up. Qs, and I'll pull up the one after this that I think is the most important one to watch. For any kind of signal for some kind of a bounce, the next one. But we'll start with the Qs. Qs, we are again not as bad as a SPY, but we are below some very, very key VPOCs. All of this now, so somewhere from 357.89 to 358.33. That should be resistance. Coming back down, I have one support at 356.23. That has been retested. I would put 354.75. That's also technically been, that's been passed through, hasn't really been retested. I would look for the strong support there, 354.83 to the downside. And then even if we could break that resistance to the higher side of probably 358.51-ish, the next higher target would take us to about 360.10. If this market wants to reverse, go bullish. But otherwise, it's kind of a crazy market. The next one, TLT, that's the one I think we have to continue to watch. So this is the 20-year bond ETF. You even saw the 2 days that we rallied in the market. So really Thursday, Friday, and Friday was a retest gap. So was this. I was looking for this one to hold a little bit better. This one is at the lows of Thursday. I don't think this market really can turn around and rally until we get TLT, until we get the bonds to recover. We are at just massive, disgusting lows on TLT. And until this one really starts to, and you saw me looking at it more and more, I think the last time I was on the mic was probably Thursday. More and more Thursday, Wednesday, stuff like that. But this is not a great gap. Again, we are still inside of Thursday's range. This is a retest gap. I think we could get a little bit of buying maybe at the beginning of the day, at least on TLT. And that should give that support to the market. So I'd have to lean a little bit more bullish to chop at open for the overall market. Look for 88.26 on TLT. See if that becomes a resistance, or if we come a little bit higher. I'm looking for like 88.79, and then we end the day with like, okay, maybe we're still holding. I don't know, but that's not a great gap down on TLT whatsoever, and I think that is going to put the bigger pressure onto the market. Let's check it. Tesla real quick, as Tesla just nose bombs. I don't know if nose bomb is a thing. Nose dive, maybe. But good little hammer on Tesla from Thursday. Wednesday. Good follow through on Friday. Nice gap up, indecision. This is kind of telling me the decision might be made already. So I would probably look to continue to go short. I'm looking at my level of resistance, 244.99. So again, I am hoping we get some buying. It's going to be, even though we're gapping down, I think it's going to be very tough for me to go short right at the open. Just because we've sold a lot from futures. Futures were gapping up. Again, I think we more or less gapped up on the fact that the government shutdown was delayed. I think I mentioned that like the first trading day of September. I was like, most likely what I think happens is they don't pass it in time. And then they'll punt the can down the road and just give them some more time. So now they did do that. The markets were loving the fact that there was no shutdown, but again, nothing got solved, no problems, no resolution, no nothing. And now we have till I think November 17th. So we have a little bit more time. Is that enough time for them to get anything done? Who honestly knows? Look for on Tesla some kind of support to come in, 238.33. That one has already been hit. We could look at a little bit lower. That would be 234.66. That has already been hit as well. So that takes us to the next level, probably the stronger level of 231.05. So again, we do have a lot of room to the downside on Tesla if it does want to start breaking. Looks like we do have a moving average that we're sitting at right now. Still got 20 minutes, 19 minutes till the market opens. So we'll see if this thing comes down a little bit lower, but I'm expecting actually a little bit of chop. Again, the markets were rallying last night and we've given it all back. So we'll see. Jennifer wants to take a look at Coin, COIN. Coinbase, yeah, we do have Bitcoin rallying a little bit. That hasn't given anything back, so that's still holding. Let's see. I'm trying to even see where the gap is on this, but Trading View is being stubborn. There we go. Let's see. Coinbase. I would look at this as a retest gap for me. Interesting location, I think, to the higher side of this. And the reason I say that is this gap is a retest gap. So this gap was a little bit more bullish. I would play this one more for a fade rather than just to assume this is going to run out of the gate. We do have resistance at $79.60. And then I'm also looking at resistance somewhere about $80.03. So we still have a little bit more room. We can rally. Let me go into a small time frame, see if we've already hit some of those ranges. What's the high of this for pre-market? $79.56. And what did we just say? $79. Yep, we got very close to that already. So that was kind of already retested. So I would look for a double top there, somewhere around $79.50. And if we could break through, maybe we could get to like $80.21. I personally will not go long on this one. It is a gap and go, just the candle sense that it is a red candle and you're gapping up. But that red candle, keep in mind, the only reason that's red is because it wasn't on a downtrend. It was just retesting. So that does give us some sentiment that we're probably going bullish, but I don't want to go bullish here. I'd rather wait until we go bullish a little bit lower. And I'm trying to see where that would be. Maybe we could look for like the 77.66 zone to get a little bit better. So let's see if this one comes down first, and then maybe we could, if this one comes down, almost kind of retest a little bit. That will give us better risk reward to the higher side. Then maybe hopefully we can break through some of those lines of resistance above us. If not, I think the higher this goes out of the gate, the more likely or more tempted I would be to fade that thing a little tiny bit lower. Let's see if I can get Coinbase to move up. There we go. All right, so that's Coinbase. Let me see if there's any other ones that I've missed. If you guys have any other tickers you want to take a look at, go ahead, type those into the chat pane. Otherwise, we'll just run through a few of them. NVIDIA is going to be interesting. So NVIDIA, like I said, I believe it was Goldman Sachs gave them the price target upgrade to $600. And they are getting a gap up still inside day of Friday. So that would be a little bit of a chop. You do have a gap and go up here as well. From at least the close of Friday, but we're gapping into an inside day. And again, if there is the overall weight on the market, specifically TLT, that could cause a little bit more, at least I think, chop to the higher side. We have to watch this level 440.71. If we could get past that, the next level up I see is 445.19. So probably one a little bit lower. Somewhere around 442 first. 442 and then 445. We've had a decent little uptrend, and it looks like it is continuing for right now. To the downside, I'm seeing some support, 437.06. I think I'd much rather try to go bullish there if we could get some type of pullback, which I think we could, just because it is going to be, I think, a little bit more choppy. And so far, again, this market hasn't really shown it wants to hold any rallies whatsoever. But otherwise, good double bottom. I think for this head and shoulders to really set up, we probably do have to come up a little bit higher, 461. I even have it. Look at that. I even have my alert all in, just short NVIDIA if we get to 460. So I personally have a little bit more room to go before that. Yeah, just load. Maybe I should change it to load to boat. It just sounds better. But yeah, we might get a little chop out of the gate on Nvidia. Amazon. Oh, let's do Microsoft first. This softy. Microsoft is. Hold on. Let me refresh my. I don't know why it's taking so long. Let's do it again. MSFT. All right. So we got Microsoft, a little bit of gap down by 5 cents. Nothing too crazy. Still at the lows of the day. Microsoft, it doesn't look as bad. And again, maybe it's from Nvidia potentially, but it doesn't look as bad as probably a few other names out there in the market. This still could be a retest. I would still look for 314.01 to be some kind of support. We are inside day, so again, it's going to be a little bit choppy. Even though we're kind of flat, so it's not too much difference in terms of if this thing is really bullish, bearish. I don't think anybody has some sentiment. If you were bullish, let's put it this way: if you were bullish on Microsoft and you got in a day or two ago, so Friday, Thursday, anything like that, and you're in there for more than a day trade. Let me see if I can get this thing. I think you were expecting a pullback. So you're probably expecting a little bit of a fade, whether your plan was to sell at open or if you get a pop and then if you get lower, rebuy. But if you're in this thing really for a swing trade, you're probably still holding it. This candle doesn't affect you. You're still bullish. If you're bearish and you got in on this thing at the highs to go short, right? So let's say you got in at the highs. Let's say you got in at the open to go short. You sat through a little bit of a pain. You're profitable at open. Nobody's sentiment has really changed in this one. So in a very micro time frame, you're still in your play of like, okay, this might be a bounce spot. We got some decent support. We've got a high wave candle, technically 3-bar reversal. I think you're still feeling comfortable in this one. And then longer term, if you're short and you're kind of using that downtrend momentum to say, okay, this is just a little bounce and we're good. I think we're going to see a little bit of indecision chop on this one for right now. But I do have my supports down here and I will have to put resistance. I got one level here. And then another bigger one coming up there. So it's going to be a little choppy, I think, on Microsoft, at least at the open. Rock is in the house. Good morning, Rock. All right, let's take a look at Amazon, AMZN. So yeah, Microsoft, if there's a good double bottom setting up, a good double top, I think that would be playable for either direction to take a shot at it. But just at open, I don't think there's too much sentiment of people getting burned. Amazon, so we have a little bit of a gap and go, but still inside day candle at a resistance. If we could break through 127.31, which we're not that far away, and maybe I'll go a little, it is about 127.31. The next spot I think would take us to 127.79. Otherwise, if we come back up there, we retest that 127.31, it seems to be breaking down. The next spot I would have to look for is 126.31 for some kind of support. We've already retested that one. I think that one can definitely break down. And then the next target, if it does, would be about 125.12. So we have some decent room to the downside. You'd have to be throwing your stop. I would throw my stop probably at like 128.28. So the closer you could get to that 128.28, the better risk reward you have. And then if we can somehow get through this moving average, if we can get through 127.79, then I think it starts to get fun. We probably have a little just psychological level from the candles, 129.38. Otherwise, the next VPOC isn't until 130.69. So you actually do have a decent amount of room to the higher side. Still dealing with the death gap from over here. And this candle retested perfectly into some kind of a retest zone. So I'd have to throw a little more weight still on the short side of things, but I think we get some chop out of the gate. Rivian. The Rivian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days up on Rivian. That might be a historical number for them. Oh no, hold on. We might have had that beat. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we tied. We tied the historical level, I think. This one has been bullish for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days into strong resistance. See if 2436 could break. Otherwise, 5 days in a row, I'd have to expect some kind of a pullback. We are at resistance. I think that's probably target for today, at least, would be about 2287. And then if it breaks that and really wants to pick up 2220, so somewhere in that zone, I think would be where you target for the short side. Pretty nice double bottom, but now we have a good potential for a double top. Somebody in those 5 days, my assumption would be wants to take profits, especially on a company that's Rivian. And I don't think you probably have a couple diehard fans of Rivian out there, but for the most part, I don't know. So I would look at it more for that pen thing is just crazy. In the long term, even if this thing wants to run more bullish, I would think we get some kind of a pullback to here and then rally, try to break through. I think it's going to be very difficult to break through this immediately. Then we hit the tops and then maybe we get the roll from there. We'll see. But yeah, I would be looking more short than bullish on Rivian. That's it. We covered all of them already. All right, let's take a look at AMD. AMD. Again, retest gap. I don't like the spot that we're opening on AMD. We're opening below 2 VPOCs. I think that's going to put a little extra pressure onto AMD. The next level down, probably 102.34. So we have a little bit of room. Really, AMD will get fun if we could start breaking 101.76. That would be my stretch target for the day. Maybe a little lower, 101.63. If it could start breaking that level, then we have nothing really stopping this thing back to like $98. And we've if I've ever seen a downtrend, that is a downtrend channel. Like picture perfect. We gapped up into it, and I think we could probably continue to fade AMD for right now. Maybe look for double bottoms if it comes in at like 96.50, somewhere around that zone in a little longer term picture. I don't think that's today, but that would be a spot where it's like, okay, maybe this is where the pain ends for people on AMD, but I don't know. I don't think so. Apple. When's the next earnings? Yeah, October, we're going to be filled with a lot of earnings, so that's going to come into play too. And if like Nvidia doesn't report well, if Apple doesn't report well, Google doesn't report well, or in worst case, forecasting is weak on any of those three, I think that's going to confirm a lot of the bearish stories. And keep in mind, I think Apple might be one of the biggest reactions we see to the market over any of those guys. Apple, but yep, Apple with a little bit of gap down into support. I think a lot of this market is going to be chopzilla at the open. Boeing has been just dying. I take that back about AMD and their downward channel. Boeing is print that one out. That's crazy. But Boeing, again, gapping down at open, still inside day from 2 days of sell-off. This is a pretty ugly Thursday we had. Friday was more of an inside day. And it looks like we're setting up for an inside day. I think still pressure to the downside there. FedEx. Nothing too crazy on FedEx. Does have some decent support below us. The Googs. Small little gap down again, just another inside day. So nothing too crazy. XOM, that one's gapping down. The other thing too, TLT, I think has to start to reverse. And then I think we might have to see oil start actually coming down a little bit. Square. Hanging on for dear life on Square. Just absolutely hanging on. We are still inside that hammer. I think the key spot that we don't really want to break, or I don't own any shares for full disclosure, so I don't care either way, but $44 would be the line in the sand. If that one starts to break, I think we probably start to hit that 42.18 zone. Disney, which looked like it might start putting in a double bottom. However, this is still a lower low on Disney. We are still inside day on that one. The most likely, I think this one probably will come back to retest that $80 zone. And then again, if we can't hold $80 a second time, we probably see a little further sell off there. Actually, Disney is a bearish gap and go today. PayPal is gapping up a little bit. So PayPal is finding a little bit of support down in this range. Again, we do still have another lower low. We have yet to make a higher high. I do see a gap fill at $60.85. So we'll have to see if we can get up to that zone. But really just sideways chop over the last probably 5-6 days. Visa, just chilling again, nothing too crazy. UAL, a lot of the airlines have been absolutely getting crushed. This one is slightly gapping up higher, but very much inside as well. Etsy is a gap and go. I'd be looking for 66.10 on a bullish side if it does want to actually pop bullish. AMD, I'm looking at pre-market. That one's starting to sell off. Tesla might be coming back a little bit, which I think could be actually a good setup for the open if we want to attempt to take this thing bearish. Oh, we are right. We are right at that zone. We are right at that resistance right now. So we got all the volume below us. Man, I think this is gonna be Chopzilla. I'd really like to play Tesla short close to $50. 240, let's see, 245.50 might be all we get though. 245.50, huge support down here. I don't know, team. I think we have to go slow and cautious to start the month. But I am just about out of time for YouTube laying. That morning bell is about to ring. Welcome to October. I think it's still going to be a chop fest of a month. We'll see what happens. I hope I don't sound too positive on the markets. I hope I don't. But we'll see. We do have a lot of information coming out. Again, we do have earnings coming out. We've got maybe more info on the government shutdown coming out. And we'll see if, again, if anything wants to actually, Win says, no, I'm good. Anything actually wants to hold reverse TLT, I think is the biggest thing that we have to watch for. So I'm going to keep that up on the screens. Otherwise, be safe in October. We got Maloney hopping in on the mic tomorrow for you guys. So make sure you guys tune into that. Otherwise,